Right, so today's video is the second from this customer. The first was the Thunderbolt 3000, which is now waiting for parts. So we've got a boxed Midland 4001. With instructions. I'll make sure we've got a first generation scan, so that's always a possibility if we haven't already. Power lead, microphone, other insert. I think we're going to put a cloth down here because this is clearly immaculate. I'll tell you what, we'll use one of our power leads, so we're not disturbing that at all. Right, Midland. Okay, so I've got the standard Cybernet mic ready. I've got a pot out. We don't normally because I know where the screws are, but when it's a new set we want to make sure the right screws go back in. I'll just smell this on your behalf. Yeah, that smells of new radio. New Maxon radio. So as you will all be aware, these Precision series, and it's the top of the range one, of course. It's what was I going to tell you? They are made by Maxon in South Korea, and unusually, really for Maxon, they've got a 4-pin mic plug because normally Maxon will be doing 5-pin DIN. But that must have been what Midland ordered. Ensuring this is the right screwdriver. I think we're going to have to run this up slowly. I'm going to take the lids off first, just in case, because a lot of new sets are in fact returns. So this person may have paid a pretty penny for this, but who's to say that it wasn't a return and they put it across mains? I saw an Amstrad 900 that had been put across mains once, and they tried to return it, and the supplier said no. And that's just like if you bought a car, took it out of the showroom and crashed it into a wall. Well, that's your fault, isn't it? So bear in mind that the countersunk one's that size, so the slide mount. Well, I mean, you don't see these slide mounts, do you? You'll probably all know the Midland 4001 is still produced for the Italian market. It's about €500, and the innards is the Midland 48. Okay, I'll put the soldering iron on because we're going to need to unsolder the thingies, the speaker. I did say I'll go and get a power lead, and I will. So we're actually out of power leads. Mr. Chippy makes those, as you know. We've got all the mouldings, the tools, spent £500 on getting the tooling to do these. This is not one of ours, it's one that the wholesalers did at the time. We've got 2 of these left, and ours are a little bit higher quality than this, a bit thicker wire. I don't think it needs it, it's only going to be drawing 1.2 amps. Ours are a little bit more tonker, so these are the kind of thing that we'll include with the set we sell probably. So, our power lead. And we've also got the RAL colour down, you know, to these cases for people who are respraying them. We do have the RAL colour on another video. This has been taken off before. This is not factory. I'm just going to look underneath. We've got printed circuit board corrosion just here. Actually got the printed circuit board being eaten away by something, so I'll make sure that I go over the board with isopropyl alcohol, which they didn't at the factory. So these were £89.99 new. Of course, exactly the same innards as the Maxcom 4E, and therefore they're exactly the same performance as the Maxcom 4E. They're a well-loved radio, so it's the Maxcom 4E. I'm sure there was some solder on this bench. Pulled some off the reel because I needed the reel in the chapel. And of course it's found its way to the floor. So that's all I can see at this point other than that corrosion. January 82, so it's the later one. Hopefully the meter will be adjustable. 8042389, Jan 82. So the meter is adjustable on this one. So on the early version of the Midland 2001, 3001, 4001, in other words the 3 sets in the Precision series which were available in the UK, the early version has a preset meter on RF. Sorry, start again. The S meter is preset. What you get's what you get, and I don't want to ever alter that because otherwise you've spoilt the different variants. It's like having a Mark something Spitfire, and you actually alter them all to that particular one, and then you've lost the diversity. So the early version has a non-adjustable meter as far as the S meter goes. And then a slightly later one, that would be like the November 81, the December 81, you've got a little preset on the back of the meter. And then in this version, where the high-low power would be on most other Maxon radios, you've got the meter, the S meter adjustment there. So that's this is as kind of as good as it got. we're going to power it up. We're going to start off at 9 volts. We're going to be current limiting, because if this hasn't been turned on for 40 years, we could have capacitor issues. I'm going to set the current limit to 300 milliamps at 9 volts. Here we go. We're drawing 130 milliamps. It hasn't shifted. Did he say the meter lamp was duff on this? Right, I'm going to step it up now to 12 volts. No, it's not this one with the meter lamp out. Okay, go to 13.8 volts. We're drawing 260 milliamps. And that all looks normal to me. So on squelch to minimum, RF gain to full. Try not to short out the crocodile clips. Dimmer on these, eh? This local and DX switch switches in the RF gain. So in local, the RF gain is activated. In DX, it's deactivated, so it's always at full. So we want mic gain at full, squelch to minimum, filter out. That's just a tone control. And we're going to start by trying it in public address mode. So we're going to plug in our speaker on the wall, which has got its wires round all kinds of things. That's predictable, part of which is a curly mic lead for this very radio. So PA, this type of yellowed finish is now a banned finishing method. It's only recently, probably in the last 10 years, that method's been banned. Nasty chemicals or something. I've actually got a clipboard and it's not here. I'm going to go and get that clipboard. My friend Simon was looking through a skip outside an estate agent's. To American viewers, that means real estate. It's not called that here. And there was this clipboard. That's how they can waste money, you see. They probably go around with Z pads and K pads and I pads and any kind of other pads. Okay. Well, meter lamp works. Let's go into public address. I'm going to put that lid not on top of the other lid. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3. Does mic gain affect? Mic gain affects it. That's good. So you've got volume and mic gain affecting it. Well, that's a stage 4. Let's put it into the other socket. Switch to CB. I don't think we've got receive because I've got this on channel 20 in our signal generator. Have we got RF gain? Have we not got the? Oh, we've not got the aerial plugged in, have we? Duh. By aerial, I mean to the test equipment. That's better. So let's start with transmit. Turn the volume down. These don't have high-low power, which is a bit naughty, but it's doing more than 3 watts. It's doing 3.4. Change channel. Channel 40 is doing 3.4. Channel 1 is doing 3.4. That's really well balanced. Doesn't have low power. Our transmit current, if we go back to channel 1, channel 20, is 968 milliamps. Nice and efficient. Deviation on this test set, wow, is 1.5. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do the deviation right now because the test set behind me is on, warmed up, and waiting for me to use it. So I think that's a sensible thing to do. And then we've done one adjustment. They always come out of the box low, just like they do these days. Spot on, doesn't need touching. We don't do the VCO on these. You have to add some extra parts in because the way they manufacture it, they don't have to add some of the parts in to do the VCO because you do it using a pin jig when the board isn't assembled onto the wiring harness. They can do that, and it probably saves about 20 pence, which of course they can spend on brownie points or whatever they spend it on. Right, so that's that done. Frequency. Everything's been on for hours, so let's have a look. Should be low because the crystals drop with age. 2779106. It's not very far out, is it? 2779106 should be 125. So we'll pop that up right here and now. Doesn't matter which way I turn these, it's always going to be the wrong way. And of course that way is random. There we go. I'm going to say 2779127. It's just slightly high so that it's got room to drop. So we'll look at the RF meter. It's supposed to say 4. It's relative power. It only reads the correct amount into a dummy load. If you put it on a aerial, it will read, might read 2, might bang across. It's still doing the same power output, and it's virtually on the. It's actually reading 3.8. So while we're looking at the meter, let's put 100 microvolts on the radio. That should equate to S9. So that's a bit lazy, and it needs to be 300 microvolts. So that needs to be altered. So let's see where the squelch is. So I'm going to put the squelch on. Let's show you the attenuator. Just make sure the signal generator is on frequency, because now we know the radio is, so it's absolutely fair test. There we go. We're showing you the attenuator. It's on 0.3 of a microvolt. We can still hear the signal generator. So I want to put the squelch to full. And here goes. I want it to open as 100 microvolts. There's no hard and fast rule on this. That's how I want it to be, and that's from experience. So 1, 3, 10, 30, 100, 300. It's one of those sets that never opens. That's useful, isn't it? Never opens. Okay, at the other end of the scale, we'll park the signal generator and set the threshold. Signal generator on. 0.4 it's coming in at, which is absolutely fine. Our background music's a bit loud today. and it's me who switched it on. So we've done PA function. So we now need to swap the speaker to the test equipment one instead of the one on the wall. So this should be inner only and should get its earth through the test gear. Yep. Right, let's go over to the SINAD meter. I think this is supposed to be better than 1 microvolt for 12 dB. Something like that anyway. We could look it up in the instruction book, couldn't we? So what do I need to do? I need to select camera 4. No doubt need to move it because the mice never put things back. So right now we've got 0.5 microvolts on the dot for 12 dB. So that's better than the manufacturer says, 0.46. And 20, ooh, not quite 1. 1.9. Okay, so we'll just check some of these switches. So local should switch in the RF gain, and that should eliminate the RF gain, which it does. Dimmer dims just the LED. Filters a tone control. That's working. We've done PA. So all the controls are working. No noise on them. Everything like that's working. So it just needs a little bit of service work. We'll start with the transmitter. Let's go to main meter. So I think this is going to be, I think it's just going to need the power adjusting really with the end one, but we've got to check the balance. That's my job. I've got to make sure it's in the centre of the peak. You know what? That wasn't in the centre of the peak. That was. That was. That was. So that was very slightly out, but not any of the others. So we'll need to just melt the wax in that one. Of course, as we go, stay in transmit, the power drops with the heat generated. Here we go. So just touching 3.5 now, and we know the balance is right, and we should be able to bring it up to 4 watts with this one, which is the power adjust. That's 4 watts. Let's check the other channels. That's 4 watts. That's 3.9. I'm not going to go backwards and forwards. It's within the 0.1. When this cools down, it may be 4.05 or something. So it's 3.9, 4 watts, and 4 watts. Our transmit current now will be increased as we've gone up half a watt, and it's now 1.078. So we've gone up, what, 470, 110 milliamps for another half watt. Okay, so that's, does the TX light work? Because these failed. Yes, that works. Let's do the meter. Meter is that one at the back, and set that so it's in between the 3 and the 5, which it is. The one next to its deviation, that's already correct. We've shown that on the other before. I'll just check it on this test set for what it's worth. Wow, it still says 1.7 because this is line, because it needs the capacitors doing. Nothing changes. So that brings us to receive. So the first thing we're going to do on receive is put a jolly big signal on. And look at it on the oscilloscope. I think the detector could be slightly out. If anything's going to be out on this chassis, it'll be the detector, which is there. Yeah. I bet this was a return, you know, because that would be garbled receive audio. Right. So I'm going to do. I'm going to do the IF. I want to be able to see the meter on the front. I want to be able to see the oscilloscope, which you can see. I'll just go over to the SINAD meter. I want to see the SINAD meter as well. So I'm looking at all three to do the IF. I'm going to probably have to put the meter up a fraction to see that. That's the meter adjustment on this particular set. So I can see the meter now moving. I'm just going to carefully adjust this between those three instruments. I'm looking for the least SINAD. Absolutely spot on. Second one, the same. Actually, a slight difference on that one. And then we'll do the front end. Very little bit of adjustment there. So we've had a little bit of adjustment on that, a little bit of adjustment on that. Get the actual tool in. Wow, that was out. In fact, I'm going to have to check the others that was so far out. No, that's still in the right place. Fine. Done. I've got the AUWI if I've got a matcher. I keep lending matches out to people and not getting them back. Okay, so make sure we've got the attenuator showing on the screen. No, I won't. Back to the SINAD meter. Then you can see that I've got it on the 12. There it is around the 12, now 0.36. And for 10 dBs, 0.33. For 20 dBs, I'm hoping it's going to improve that. It is. That was the kind of clue that something was out with the detector. 0.7. This will change the squelch. But before we do that, I'm going to set the S meter for 100 microvolts on the signal generator. And the meter is pegging the needle. So that needs to come down to say S9. Again, remember this is only accurate for the 100 microvolts I'm putting it from the signal generator. Anything else could be anywhere. It's only a guidance, it's not some calibrated thing for the military. So that's that done. I think we've done everything, haven't we? Oh, squelch, yeah, squelch. So I can turn the squelch to full like we did at the beginning of the video, and turn the signal generator for 100 microvolts. I want it to come in 1, 3, 10, 30, 100. It doesn't. Does it ever come in? It still doesn't ever come in. And now we will adjust the squelch. That's exactly where I want it, 100 microvolts. So now we'll turn the squelch down, turn the signal generator to standby. There we go, and squelch is in threshold position. And let's see what the sensitivity is now. The squelch is 0.42, so it's exactly the same kind of thing. And it's now 100 microvolts for that, which is what I want. So that's now done, that's now done. Right, I'm going to pause the video, see if I can find an SWR meter with a matcher on it. So as ever, the only one with the only SWR meter with built-in matcher is, I've lent it somebody, but I don't know. So what we're going to do, we're just going to drop the voltage to 12 on the radio. There we are, we're now on 12 volts. I'm going to take the aerial out, we'll key it up for half a second, and the highest SWR should cause the AWI light to come on. It does, that's all I need to do. We adjust it when it's 3 to 1. We'd mismatch the, because we're on a dummy load, we'd mismatch the loading so we had a 3 to 1 SWR, or 3.5 to 1, something like that. So the AWI light just comes on, but it clearly works. And there we go. Lots of the time the LED's knackered on those. So there we go, we are done. I'll put the smouldering bat on and we'll put the lids back on. I'll probably end up buying a brand new SWR meter with built-in matcher and kind of just never ever lend it out. Oh, I was going to do the isopropyl alcohol just here, which I will. We get one or two, well, often not unsolicited gifts coming from viewers, and I'll do a video on some of that. I'm not mentioning any names, I'm not kind of doing unboxing videos, but I think it's something we'll just cover. It's always kind of appreciated, and when we get scrap chassis, which does happen, it means that when I use those parts on customer jobs, then I don't have to charge them for those used parts. So it helps. It's just here. That's not nice. Hopefully that will dry by the time I put the lid on. I don't know whether there's anything else where you end up with 40-year-old electronic items still in the box and still kind of relevant and usable. You know, if I've got a boxed television set, apart from the fact there'd be a lot wrong with it, That was a bad example because I don't have a television. People outside the UK may not realise that in the UK you have to pay for a television licence, which is about £170 a year, which is the authority to receive television broadcasts. So you can, of course, not have a television licence and therefore not have a television. And I've taken that approach for the last 25 years. Once it went digital, we could only get about 4 channels. Mark came around with a Freeview box. The auction jewellery channel. Sky Sports News, the likes of which was so dire. And Channel 4 plus 1 hour in Welsh. There's another one. There we go. Well, I haven't lost any spaces, but I'll put that one in the middle. Oh, there's one. There's another spacer, but it shouldn't be there, surely. No, I think they should be there and there. What I'm just going to do is we'll put a small. I've got a little Torx driver. This one that I just what is it, T5, just to help line these up, rather than be forcing screws. So get this right. It's a machine screw. I'll just put that up snug but not tight, and we'll do the opposite side. Then we've got the slide bits. So it's the machine screw there. And the countersunk self-tapper there. If you don't have these slide mounts, you can use the conventional one underneath. Good. Right, we'll unplug the extension speaker. It's now unplugged from the test gear. Plug it into the roof aerial. Solarcon 99. One and a Roger. Right, now then, let's have a little test with our walkie-talkie. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. So that's with our mic. That's what we're going to do the on the air test with. And then I'm not going to take this out of the plastic. That's got no sleeve. I don't remember them being like that. Surely there'd be a bit of a plastic sleeve. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Well, it still works, but I'll just use that at the end and appreciate that it's got the plastic on it. There you have it, a rather immaculate Midland 2001. What am I on about? 4001, which in my opinion was a return because the detector was so far out to make the radio really garbled and quiet on receive. Thank you for watching.